"You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you." A scream torn from the depths of a Jedi Master's soul, echoing across a lava-scarred planet. It's a lament for a bond shattered beyond repair, capturing not just the failure of a mission or the loss of a pupil, but the devastation of a relationship far deeper, far more personal than a mere master-apprentice dynamic. For Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, their connection was a profound, if often turbulent, brotherhood. It transcended the formal strictures of the Jedi Order, evolving into something akin to family. The son Obi-Wan never had, the brother he always wanted. And it was this profound connection that made Anakin's fall to the dark side so devastatingly personal for Obi-Wan. From the moment Obi-Wan reluctantly took on Anakin as his Padawan, there was an immediate, albeit challenging bond. Obi-Wan had promised his dying master, Qui-Gon Jinn, that he would train the boy. It was a duty, yes, but it quickly blossomed into something far more organic and complex. He saw in Anakin not just the chosen one, but a spirited, brilliant, and often exasperating young man who needed guidance, discipline, and most importantly, unconditional care. Obi-Wan often found himself balancing stern wisdom with a wry, affectionate exasperation. Think of their early interactions: Anakin's impulsiveness, his knack for finding trouble, and Obi-Wan's dry wit in response. Another happy landing, he might quip, after Anakin had narrowly averted disaster through sheer audacity. Or, oh, not good, delivered with a sigh that spoke volumes of 1,000 similar predicaments they had navigated together. These weren't just lines of dialogue, they were glimpses into a shared history, a shorthand developed over years of facing danger side by side. Obi-Wan was fiercely proud of Anakin's unparalleled talent, his courage, and his unwavering loyalty, qualities that shone brightly even amidst his burgeoning arrogance and impatience. He pushed Anakin, challenged him, and sometimes he simply had to let him stumble, hoping he would learn the hard lessons the galaxy often taught. This blend of tough love and deep admiration forged their bond, hardening it in the fires of countless battles throughout the Clone Wars. The war, ironically, was where their brotherhood truly solidified. They weren't just master and apprentice, they were generals, comrades in arms, relying on each other implicitly. Obi-Wan's calm, strategic mind often complemented Anakin's daring, often reckless, brilliance. They rescued each other, covered each other, and through it all, they learned to trust each other with their lives, cementing a bond that surpassed mere professional respect. They shared jokes, frustrations, triumphs, and the heavy burden of command. The clones knew them as a formidable, inseparable pair, General Kenobi and General Skywalker. Yet beneath the surface of their camaraderie, Obi-Wan harbored a quiet concern. He sensed the turmoil within Anakin, the fear of loss, the impatience with the Jedi Code, the glimpses of an immense power unchecked by calm reflection. He tried to guide Anakin, to warn him, but always gently, always with the understanding that Anakin's path was ultimately his own to walk. He knew Anakin's heart was good, despite his flaws, and he believed, perhaps too strongly, that their bond, their shared light, would be enough to keep Anakin anchored. The tragedy of their story lies in the depths of this connection. The stronger their brotherhood grew, the more devastating Anakin's eventual fall would become. It wasn't just a failure of the Jedi to contain a threat. It was the heartbreaking, gut-wrenching loss of a brother to the very darkness they had sworn to fight. When the truth of Anakin's betrayal finally became undeniable, the weight on Obi-Wan was immense. The confrontation on Mustafar wasn't just a duel between adversaries. It was a desperate, agonizing attempt by Obi-Wan to reach the brother he thought he knew, to pull him back from the precipice. Every parry, every lunge was laced with an unbearable sorrow, a silent plea for the return of the man he loved. The moment Obi-Wan stood over Anakin, broken and burning, was the culmination of his deepest fears. It was the ultimate, shattering realization that his brother was truly lost. The Jedi Master's duty demanded action, but the brother's heart was tearing itself apart. The final, searing words, "You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you," weren't just spoken, they were ripped from the soul of a man who had just lost everything he held dear in that relationship. It was the ultimate grief, not for a mission failed, but for a family destroyed. The shadow of this loss lingered over Obi-Wan for the rest of his life. His self-imposed exile on Tatooine, watching over Luke, wasn't just a strategic necessity. It was a form of penance, a lifelong vigil born from that profound personal grief. Luke represented a legacy of the brother he lost, and a fragile hope for the son he couldn't save. Ultimately, the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin wasn't just a cornerstone of the Star Wars saga. It was a deeply human story of love, responsibility, and the crushing pain of losing someone you consider family to the very darkness you fight. It reminds us that even in a galaxy far, far away, the bonds of brotherhood, when broken, can leave the deepest scars. What are your thoughts on Obi-Wan and Anakin's bond? Was it truly a brotherhood or something else entirely? Share your perspectives in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more journeys into the heart of these timeless tales.